So good afternoon, everybody. A few weeks ago, I came across a speech from Nobel Prize, a Peace Nobel Prize, and I found his speech very insightful. So I decided to change a bit this speech, replacing two words, like replacing the word nations by world and the word energy by carbon footprints. And this gives this following text that I wanted to share with you. We are at a turning point in our history. There are two paths to choose. One is a path that leads to fragmentation and self-interest. Down that road lie a mistaken idea of freedom. All the promises of our future point to another path, the path of common purpose and the restoration of common values. That path leads to true freedom of our world and ourselves. We can take the first steps down that path, and we begin to solve the carbon emission problem. Carbon emission will be the immediate test of ability to unite the world. And it could also be a standard on which we rally. On the battlefield of carbon emission, we can win for our world a new confidence, and we can seize control again of our common destiny. I find it particularly up to date, even if it was written in 1979, because I really think that we need to rally against global warming and to diminish our carbon emission. This is what I've been doing in Stimergy for a few years, and I'm benefiting from this moment to say that we have just rebranded the name just to give it more sense about IT. So it's rebranded. It's been rebranded as Neutral IT. And I'm proud to say that Neutral IT is the first carbon negative cloud. There is a wrong belief that electricity is just a magic energy. But electricity is not carbon free. It's plenty of carbon. 57% of the electricity produced in OECD is made of carbon. So it's massive. And when it comes to data centers are consuming a lot of electricity. When we are looking at the places the data centers are implanted, we can see that usually and really often these data centers are built in places where the energy is highly carboned. For example, if you take the six biggest countries that are hosting data centers, you've got the US, Australia, and Netherlands. These three countries have very dirty electricity, with the Netherlands, for example, having 80% of its electricity produced by carbon energy. Data centers will be consuming half of the electricity of the IT industry by 2025. This is probably due to the fact that 5G will be responsible for a lot of increase of energy consumption by data centers. At Neutrality, we've thought from the beginning that using synergies, using circular economy, we can change the industry trends and enhance our efficiency. For example, in the building industries is responsible of 40% of the emission of carbon in the atmosphere. That's a big issue. And combining buildings with data centers, we can make great savings. That's what we've done. What we are doing, actually, we are installing our data centers, small data centers, in the heating room of buildings. This way, we can reuse 96% of the energy used by our data center to heat the water of the building, the water of swimming pools, of the spaces in the building. We've got many data centers installed today in France. We've got data centers in Nantes, in Lille, in Lyon, and we've got data centers installed in Switzerland also. We are going abroad, and we are creating a kind of cloud, a cloud with all these distributed data centers that is a resilience. Because we've got many data centers working as a team, we create a cloud which is not only energy efficient, but which is also elastic and resilient. This slide is quite important because when we are thinking of new machines or of new services, we have to think in terms of what is its impact of these products in its lifetime. How much energy does it take to build it? How much water would it consume? And if you don't take all these elements, you don't know the real impact of this product, of these services on the environment. We've done such an exercise. We have simulated a process, a computation process, and we have compared the results in terms of environment consumption. And what we've seen is that with our technology, we are not only carbon neutral, but we are also carbon negative, because we are replacing an energy which is full of carbon, for example, gas to heat the water of your building, with an energy which is a reused energy. So this was a very good news because we found a solution that is really carbon negative. On these data centers, what we do is hosting different services like web services. We can host any website in the world almost. We can also propose services which are linked to IoT. We gather information, we store them, we compute this data, and then we display them. This example is one of many examples, I think, that we could think or we could rethink in terms of systemic organization. Rethinking things can help not only being more efficient in terms of energy, but can also have some added values. And this is just an example among others, I hope, that we can present and adopt to be the new era of organization of the IT industry or of industries in general. Thank you for listening.
Amazing. Thank you. Water. Go for it. An aspect of, please, however you want. Sit. So an aspect of data centers that I don't think that we've necessarily spoken about in detail, but it's not just about the energy needed to power them, if I'm right. It's also about the energy needed to cool them. Because if you think about your phone, if it's processing a lot of apps, or your computer, like they've got those fans. Some people have those fancy like cooling systems made of tubes, which are pretty cool. The idea behind what you're doing, if I understand correctly, with the digital boiler, for example, right, is finding a way to safely store data centers in a secure fashion in locations that would usefully use that heat expenditure. So, if I'm taking a shower, I can get powered by the, 100,000 cat videos.
Exactly, yeah. It's a circular economy example, a typical one, where you've got the data center which is emitting waste, and this waste is just reused by another process. And if it could be done infinitely, then we could be in an energy-free world. But yeah, it's just an example. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Welcome.
And for people who are interested in this type of module in their house, right? If I were a homeowner in France, is there a way for me today to get access to the type of solutions that you offer, or is that something that's going to be rolling out? Or
okay, the energy implied in these data centers is a bit big, so it's not adapted for small houses. It's adapted for residential buildings, for example, or for swimming pool. This has an interest only if you've got a lot of energy consumption at a temperature which is between 40 and 50 degrees.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So if I were a business owner, say like a pool operator or a landlord or a building owner, then there'd be an applicability for these types of devices considering the scale.
Exactly.
Right? They have to be big things, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's cool. So maybe the Grand Palais could be heated by something like this.
Yeah, it could be a good idea. Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially in winter, because in summer it should be an air conditioning system. But
Got it. So you're an impact entrepreneur from France, operating in France, right? How has been your experience moving into this space? Because I can't imagine it was like, the first thing or the second thing, but you're here, and what's it like?
Actually, it's twofold. In a sense, it's very it's very fun, very nice, because you've got all your people, all your family, everybody who likes what you're doing. They love what you're doing. And this is ecstatic. But on the other side, some people say it's not because you're doing good to the planet that we are going to buy your product. So it's it's really twofold. Being an impact entrepreneur is also getting implied in a field of energy in general, and energy is a very slow market. So you've got to be very patient, which is frustrating when you want things to move faster.
Yeah, because that speaks to a subject that we've kind of touched on earlier, this idea of culture, right? Because I imagine the culture around impact entrepreneurs is getting more positive and more open and more welcoming, where I know a lot of consumers are starting to change their behavior to select more products that have this type of, ethics behind them. But I imagine it's a bit difficult if you're somebody leading the change. Have there been things that you've seen in the past year or so that have given you an indication that things are getting better, that it is becoming easier to do this type of work?
Yeah, actually, I've been seeing a lot of positive indicators lately, like for maybe 1 year. I think it started like during the last I don't know, city elections, when people just make the ecologist party a good score, and I think it was a marker of a new area, an area where people were just more conscious about their environmental impact. And I've seen, yes, a very positive movement, a very positive move toward the nature preservation, energy consumption, and so far. So hopefully, I still think that there is a lot of greenwashing from the industry, but expecting that regulations are going to go a bit faster. Hopefully, it's going to be corrected, and we are going to be in a better situation.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. I think a lot of big companies have come to ChangeNOW and have put forward bold statements about how they're going to contribute to a better world. They've introduced the idea of carbon negative a lot, which is something that you're doing, which means that you'll actually be extracting carbon from the atmosphere by using your technologies, correct?
Actually, I'm replacing carbon which was used by a reused heat. So I'm not extracting carbon from the atmosphere. I'm just preventing carbon to be used, to be emitted. So, yeah.
Okay. So we've talked about how the culture around impact entrepreneurship is getting better. The culture around global awareness on environment, on ethically sourced solutions is getting better. Do you think there's like unique segments of the population or the nation that are specifically focused on, it could be an age group, it could be a city, that are really open to these types of ideas and adopting them quickly, or is it kind of generally spread?
Yeah, I think young people are more sensitive to this topic because they are more concerned about what their future will be. And there is a lot of uncertainty. So I think, the youngest are more concerned about that. Then I've seen some cities that were particularly implied in this movement of reducing their impact. And I will be mentioning Nantes, who was a very good city for that. Paris, which has helped us to install our first data center in a swimming pool. So there are some cities that are very active and proactive toward this energy consumption style changement. So then social landlords also are very impacted because when they are saving energies, they are reducing the financial charges of their customers. So this is a good sense for them too.
Yeah. So you mentioned the role of the city and helping kind of make this change. Do you see a broader role for government, not just as a mechanism to push, but also a mechanism to pull, where they offer incentives or they have specific programs or pilots? How would you like to see the government involved?
Yeah, so far you've got some specific institution like ADEM, which is doing a great job helping new solutions to be created. So I think you've got stuff already organized. What I would say is maybe there could be better organized to prevent greenwashing, because I'm seeing too many like advertising saying, well, we are green, we are planting trees and so on, but that is just not sufficient. And this is just like branding, so this is not good. So maybe we could go regulations could be more regulating the communication. So to avoid like wrong information from big company.
Yeah, like Greek yogurt has to be from Greece, right?
Pardon?
Greek yogurt. I understand there's like a difference between Greek yogurt and Greek style yogurt.
Maybe.
So what inspired you as an impact entrepreneur to really take this leap? Was it a person? Was it an event? Was it something you saw? Like how did you find this energy that you wanted to commit yourself to?
Actually, I was previously living in the countryside, in a house. It was beautiful with plenty of trees, of birds. I was breeding bees also. So yeah, I was close to the nature. But one day, my sister told me, "Yeah, okay, right. You seem to be like an ecologist guy, but um, you have to take your car to go to work. So you're just polluting the planet." And this this gave me the initial energy to do something. And one day I was responsible of a server room, a computer room, and there was air conditioning system failure. And at this time, when I get in the room, it was more than 40 degrees, and I just realized that there was something to do. It was just useless to use energy to run an air conditioning system to absorb a heat which could be reused for heating swimming pools or swimming our showers. So that's where the project came from.
Yeah, thank you. And so we've asked this of Gwendol and Eloi as well. Looking out at the audience, seeing young, fresh faces who are here at ChangeNOW to really find something that they can connect to and find something that they can, contribute to. What would you like to give to the audience in terms of a thought or a belief or an idea that you'd like them to take away?
I think, yes, we and you've got a great opportunity to change the world. I mean, it's a great big mission, but today we've made a lot of progress. We are living in comfort, and I think it's the right time to start rethinking things, to do better with less. So I think it's a great opportunity for the youngest to reinvent things as they want to.
Thank you. With that final thought, I'd like to thank our audience for joining us today for this discussion on digital pollution. I'd like to thank our panel attendees. Christophe, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.